What's up, YouTube? This is J5. I'm back again. The weather is back to normal up here in New England. So I'm up in New Hampshire, around the Lake Sunapee area where I can do ski Mount Sunapee. But I wanted to show off something pretty neat. I haven't skated these yet. I got them last year. I might try to skate them maybe this weekend when school's not in session. They have up here, they have a couple of free skate rinks at the schools. If it's cold enough, and the water is frozen that they had put into these forms that they made ice rink out of. It's great. Now they have free rentals, or basically you can use skates there, but I don't like putting on rentals on my feet because I feel the best way to stay safe in any type of sport that involves boot is to have something that fits you really well and something that you're familiar with and how it moves. So I decided to try out these. These are skate blades that attach to UFS frames. Now there's a couple of different versions of this. This is from a Canadian company. And it's just the blade, and they make a couple different ones. They make a figure skating one, they make an ice hockey one, which is rockered, and then this is the aggressive one. I think the aggressive one is just a little less rockered than the hockey skate, and is made to fit in the UFS systems. Now I know Ground Control makes their own, which is more like a hockey skate that bolts on without a frame. It has its own frame attached, and the blade is nestled in that frame, similar to how, say, a Bauer hockey skate frame works. In fact, it looks very similar, just with UFS bolts. So I got these because I wanted to try. Actually, I didn't see the GC ones. They might have come out right before I bought them last year. But when I bought these, the weather had just turned and they had shut down the rinks the next weekend. So I wasn't able to use it. And the weather's been kind of weird up here this year, so I haven't been out to the ice skating rinks yet. So I'm going to put these on. So I have them detached right now. I'm going to put these on my old Ground Control frames that came with my Remedies, or my Remz 03s, right here. So you might be wondering why I have the liner out. So these are integrated liners, per se, that they integrate into the cuff. They're very hard to take out. But I have to, because in the infinite wisdom of this version of the Remz, their T-nuts are not actually dug in to the boot itself or integrated on the boot itself. They are loose, and so in order to get enough pressure on here so they don't spin, I need to take out the liner. Kind of sucks, so I'll probably keep these as my ice frames for this season at least. I'm not going to be swapping out other frames, and I'll show you why. It's pretty hard to swap these out otherwise. So yeah, I'll put those in here. I'm using the Remz because they're really comfortable to skate for me, and they're really squishy. I like the soft boot, so I think in ice skating I really want the soft boot. A hard boot might be nice for power transfer, but I'm not trying to go for speed and whatnot. So the cool thing about using the UFS frames as opposed to the hockey ones is that you can grind with these. You're not going to be doing any Royale tricks or anything, but you could do Mizus and negatives if you wanted to. But I know I've seen videos of people actually doing grinds on ice skating rinks and whatnot. So the way that these work is they nestle in here, and you notice I have just so I don't lose them, the spacers. These are special spacers that come with it to keep it centered. And then these are the axles that you'd normally put in your wheels. Go right up there. You'll see. So I'll just take these off. So I have one of them here that has one axle attached. And the reason why I have one axle attached is this is the only way to put these on and be able to have access to the UFS bolts. You have to take off 3 of the axles so that you can at least pivot it, so that you can then bolt the frame on to the boot itself. So that is a pain. Now the ones that ground control have, they're much higher, first of all. And so there's enough room in between the blade and your UFS frame that you can get you probably get a Allen wrench in there. I don't know if you probably wouldn't be able to get a skate tool in there, but you'll definitely be able to get an Allen wrench in there and bolt them on to the system. So that's the advantage of the ground control ones. But they do sit taller. They're not as much of an aggressive ride. They're more of a freestyle ride. And this will give you more of the aggressive ride. So, you know, given that, I'm pretty much fine with having to deal with this. So, in order to do this, you get the bolts out. And it's just like any UFS system. Just put it on, and you line them up. Okay, once you have the holes lined up, you want to go ahead and tighten each of those UFS bolts in there. Good. Just like a regular skate. Now, you want to be able to get your hardware, so you have your axle bolts, the screws that go into the axle bolts, those are just normal, like you have for any wheel, and then you have your spacers, 2 for each axle bolt, and these just make sure that these skates are aligned. Now this is a little tricky here, so you have this pivot bolt area that basically, that pivot one is your fixed one. That will align all of the rest of these sort of slots to the UFS holes, to the wheel holes. Because with UFS frames, while the UFS bolts themselves are spaced precisely apart, the wheels can be spaced at any length that the frame manufacturer wants them to be. So this is super adjustable to almost any frame. So what I do is I go from my first bolt that I have back here, and I just carefully slot these in. They don't have to be aligned yet. So you want to just carefully slot these in so that then they get trapped right in between the frame. So they get trapped there so that they're stuck there and you have room to slot these in. Now the ones at the edges are a little easy because you can put the slots in if they extend beyond the frame, depending on the size of your frame. But I like to do the same thing for that. So slot these in, make sure that they're holding, and then we'll slot the last one in, the last 2 in. There we go. So then the first one I want to do is that pivot one. Take my skate tool. Skate tool has this nice little piece right here that usually fits bearings and the bolt holes precisely, so they can use for alignment. There it goes in, and we'll loosely put in the screw. We'll tighten those up later. That one in even more. Okay, so now we have these two. It doesn't matter what order you do it in. I recommend getting a skate tool. They're very simple, but they have the nice alignment pin, and then they have a bearing claw, which basically allows you to pull out bearings really easily. These are the old GCs. They do not have the new bolts. I have to say, the new bolts are nice. I wish they had standardized on a way of keeping one of the bolts from spinning, because it's really annoying having to have 2 Allen wrenches in order to tighten these older skates. And even on my 50/50s, which I really like, you have to do that because it's just too expensive for a small company to build their own proprietary hardware. All right, there we go. So you don't have to tighten them too much, but now you have rigidity. All right, now let me do the other one, and I'm gonna go out and test these out. See you in a bit. I couldn't get to the skate rink, the outdoor skating rink at Sunapee. For some reason it's closed today. It might have been because of the warmer weather a couple of weeks ago. It's not frozen yet and they haven't gone out and smoothed out the ice yet. So I still wanted to take these out to see how they felt, so I took them out to my driveway. Driveway is kind of frozen, mostly snow. I can slide around a little bit on it, but I can get there's a little bit of a feel. There you go. So these feel exactly like aggressive skates. I mean, they are, but I thought maybe it'd be a little different balance. No, almost exactly the same. It might be slightly different once I get it on real ice. But the cool thing, they're a little lighter because they don't have the wheels on them and everything. I set up this pallet, if you want to do Mako grinds and stuff, you can. Oops. I wouldn't recommend soles because you're going to stop yourself right away if you, on anything you're sliding on, unless it's really slick. I don't know if you can get a rail out on a piece of outdoor ice, if like you have a pond that freezes over. They're kind of cool, but otherwise they're great for just skating around. They seem like they're going to be great for skating around. I have them on my Remz 03s, as I showed you in the setup in the beginning of the video. These are really comfy, they're puffy, keep my feet warm because of that. So they're a great option if you fit really well, but any boot that you fit really well in has good, decent ankle support, you should be fine in. This is tons better than slipping on, rental skates, I'll tell you that. And I mean, it just feels amazing. Recommend it for cross training, all the different seasons. You can have this for the winter if you can't get to your outdoor skate park and you don't have indoor skate parks near you. Or if somebody just wants to go out ice skating who doesn't really rollerblade, you can bring these, set up the UFS frames, and you're doing what you love, just on a different frame setup. So that's it. Hope you liked the video, and highly recommend these. I think they were like $60 plus shipping from Canada when I got them. Now skate shops are starting to get them in, so you should probably be able to get them directly from your skate shop, and hopefully there are sales going on when the spring rolls around. We'll see, but I highly recommend picking up some type of ice blades and going out and skating. I mean, just to have around. They're great. All right, thank you. Talk to you later.